Testing. We have a couple more minutes. So if those of you that are at tables would like to find a seat, we'll try to get started around at 7 o'clock. I'd like to thank everybody for being here this evening. I saw that many of you had an opportunity to talk to the various guests we have tonight. And this is a new approach for us, is to have a tabling session before our meetings start. So if you have comments that are constructive, we'd like to hear from you. If you don't feel that this is beneficial to you or anybody else, then let us know about that too. Okay. I will officially call the meeting to order for the West Hill Community Council quarterly meeting. And Margie decided we have a volunteer to lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right, will everyone please stand? Face the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I missed the last quarterly meeting, so there are probably quite a few people here that don't know me. I'm Lou LaCroix, and I'm the president of the West Hill Community Council. Old habits, council, let's change that to association. I also would like to introduce our newest member to our board, Jeremy Williams. Would you stand up so everybody can see who you are? So if you see Jeremy out, and you have some comments to make to him, I'm sure that he would love to hear from you, and then he can pass it on to us, or you're welcome to our monthly meetings, and that next one will be the second Tuesday in November, which I believe is the 7th.
Third Wednesday. Or second Wednesday.
Oh, maybe pardon, second Wednesday. So, okay. And as far as announcements goes, we want to bring everybody's attention to the fun that is planned for the 30th, the Halloween party. You may come in costume if you wish. It'll be at Skyway Park Bowl. It's the similar format as far as the bowling goes, $4 for 3 games of bowling, and those who need to purchase bowling shoes can do so too. And to get things started, I'm going to ask Devin to come up and introduce some of the guests, and I'd like to thank all of our guests for being here. Great job done, and we appreciate you taking your time off.
Thank you so much, Lou. All right, guys. Whoa, we've got a packed house tonight. All the way to the back. Hey, guys in the back. What's up? Yes. You guys are rock stars for coming out tonight on a Tuesday night, and it's rainy and nasty, and you guys came out. And you could be watching Netflix right now. I'm trying not to make it sound really attractive, sorry. No, it's good you're here. It's good that you're here. So I do have a few things to talk to you about. Also, can we just get a really quick round of applause for all of the guests that we had here tonight? Yes, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. They raced here from work to get set up, come talk to us and tell us what's going on. So many different amazing organizations. And it's so great to see that there's so many folks serving the community. One of those groups being the West Hill Community Association. And so the West Hill Community Association, we're all volunteer 501c3 nonprofit, which, as you can probably guess, that means we have a tiny budget and we work a lot. Yeah, so we do a lot of work. What we're doing right now is a fall fundraiser for everybody that just shut down their ears and looked down at their phones, because that's a really, really scary thing to hear. Don't worry, this is going to be fun. It's fun. It's a fundraiser is what I meant to say. It's a fundraiser. What that means is that we're raising funds, and this isn't like a big gala dinner. Like this is like $10, $15, whatever you can give. You can do it online. You can do it by check. You can do it all through mywesthill.org/donate. But why would you want to do that? Let me tell you why. If you like things like these community meetings, if you like things like Skyway Outdoor Cinema, okay, all right, yeah. If you like the West Hill Action Mob cleanup parties, look at that. Look how well I timed that, cleaning up the streets. If you like Skyway's National Night Out, which I think came up here, any of those events. If you like our constant stream of information on our Facebook page, who looks at My West Hill on Facebook? Anybody? A few, okay. If your hand isn't up right now, maybe you should, learn from those guys. My West Hill on Facebook is a constant stream of information about your neighborhood or the neighborhood you work or play in. Also, we have email lists, and you can get those right at the front table. You can sign up for emails. For those people who hate emails, it is perfect because we only send a very few, very important emails out. We don't bombard you with them. You can subscribe at any time, which is really awesome for those who hate emails. Check that out. Okay, all of that said, all those different things that we do, and that was just a segment, a small portion of the things that we do for the community. We need your help. And that's where the fundraiser comes in. And so, if you haven't seen a lot of the pictures already sliding around back here talking about it, we're having a party. We're having a party on the 30th. Halloween Eve, WHCA, Bowling Alley Takeover. We did one in March, but this one is even going to be more fun because it's Halloween themed, and we all know that Halloween is the greatest holiday of the year. Somebody give me a few. Yeah, okay. All right, maybe that's a minority opinion, but it's a pretty darn good one anyways. So what we need you to do is go to mywesthill.org/donate, even if that sounds really painful to you, even if, you just got maybe 10 extra bucks in your pocket. It makes a huge difference because when you donate, not only are you supporting all these great things, you're also going to be unlocking surprises for the party on the 30th. What your neighbors have already unlocked with their donations are things like giant bags of loot for kids, teens, and adults, candy, plastic fake things. We've got gummy eyeballs. We have everything. We also have a mini carnival happening. We have carnival games and prizes. We have a costume contest. We have all sorts of things, cosmic bowling happening. That's because you guys donated. What's next? You've got to donate to find out, but please do that today or tomorrow. The fundraiser will be over soon, so we're not continuing to bombard you with these messaging. So help us be successful. We're about a third of our way to the goal, so all the help you can do would be awesome. I'm going to get off the mic in a second here because I know I've taken up way too much time. I'm just really excited about this because I really want you guys to come out to our party, to get involved in all the fun things we have going on, and we're all in this together. So the more support we can give, the better, and we really, really appreciate it. We make those dollars stretch. And if you want to know what we're doing with your dollars, hey, I'm the treasurer. So actually you can come to all of our public monthly board meetings and look at every line item on the treasurer's report in your hands and see exactly what we're doing with your dollars. So all that said, I'm going to get off the stage and turn it over to our first special guest tonight. And so we're going off agenda a little bit really quickly. But we have tonight with us Toshiko Grace Hasagawa. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. From the Office of Law Enforcement Oversight. I'm getting tongue-tied because I'm trying to talk a little bit too quickly. But she's going to give you a quick overview about who she is, what she does. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody, for having me here today. And I think one thing that Devin didn't mention is that there's actually another organization that's also having a fundraiser right now. Isn't there, Devin?
Yes.
So the South Seattle Emerald, just as an aside, they are a South End centric news reporting organization, and they carry the voices of the South End through media, and they are in the middle of their fundraising drive, and I know that Devin is the president of their board. So they're a nonprofit organization. They very much depend upon the support of community to be able to make sure that our perspectives are elevated. And I say our because I'm a Beacon Hill girl. I'm a South Ender myself, and so I'm really glad to be able to be here with you all here tonight and tell you a little bit about what we're up to now. So now I'm going to put back on my King County hat. Sorry, I had my community hat on there for a second.
So as Devin mentioned, my name is Toshiko Hasegawa, and I work at King County's Office of Law Enforcement Oversight. And what we do is we're checks and balances to the sheriff's office. And we just make sure that they're providing you with fair and just policing services. And we do that in 3 primary ways. The first way is that we review all of their internal investigations. Once those investigations have been completed, they come to us as an independent office, and we review them to make sure that they were both thorough and objective. And if the investigations was both of those things, then we certify them as such. And the second thing that we do are systemic reviews. We look at their systems, their procedures, their policies, their training, and we make recommendations on how they can improve their services. One example of a recommendation that we made to the sheriff's office is we urged them to ensure that every single one of their deputies had the 40-hour crisis intervention training as a minimum. And they adopted that recommendation with the support of the sheriff and the support of the county council. By the end of next year, every single one of our deputies is going to be trained up on that as a bare minimum. That's a win. Do they always have to take a recommendation? No. Whether they do, whether they don't, that's where the third major function of our office comes in. And that's my role as the communications and outreach manager. That's transparency. That's accountability. It's public education. I let you know what they're doing. And I also receive input from you to make sure that what our practices and what their practices are doing are truly reflective of what the needs and the priorities of you, the community stakeholders, are. So that's sort of the quick and dirty. I just wanted to say that I only have 3 minutes, but it is through us that you are able to file both a complaint or a commendation. We want to be able to hear from you, and so many of you are connected with other community organizations that are special interest groups. And so whether it is a disabled veterans group or a civil rights advocacy group, whatever it is, we're happy to go and meet you at a place most comfortable at a time most convenient for you to be able to have a more targeted conversation about the issues of police accountability and reform. So you can find my information. I'm going to leave it on the table there. And to that end, not everybody is comfortable in a public setting to be able to approach and talk about maybe a negative experience that you might have had or a complaint about a specific sheriff's office employee, and that's okay. I'm available to you whenever. But again, my information is going to be left on that table there, so feel free to get in touch with me. So I'm going to stick around for the next 15 minutes. I'll be in the back. I'm going to move some of my materials over there. Feel free to find me or feel free to contact me after the fact. Thank you.
As we said before, we have a multitude of people here to answer questions about what's going on in your community, and at this time I'd like to have Bong and Alan come up, and they're going to introduce some of the other guests. These 2 gentlemen are our conduit to the King County Council and have been very instrumental in advising us, so we'll let these 2 gentlemen introduce the next guest.
Thank you, Lou. Good evening. My name is Bong Santo Domingo. I work for the Community Service Areas Program. And I have to hand it to these 2 wonderful ladies. Their infectious exuberance of what they do is hard to copy. So, we're going to try. All right? Again, I work for the Community Service Areas Program for King County. By the way, welcome to the King County Show. So there's going to be a series of folks here coming up to talk about King County programs. So, when you walked in earlier today, you got a chance to grab one of this. So we're giving away monies. Okay, not quite. You have to apply for it. It's a grant. But it's a small and simple grant, 2-pager, easy, up to $5,000. We're giving away about $9,000. All right, so go check it out. It's proposals must be submitted by November 17th. That's the only drawback. It's awfully close. Okay, I know you guys are wondering about our favorite barista, NASPAC, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, it's off committee, so the council is going to vote on it on Monday, 1:30. All right? So, before I give up the mic, oh no, wait a minute. Yeah, before we give up the mic, I'm going to introduce to you Mr. Alan Painter. He is the manager of the Community Service Areas Program. Also happens to be my boss, so say nice things to him. Oh, sorry. Here you go, Alan.
I didn't see a standing ovation for Bob. Hi, everybody. I'm Alan. And what I would like to talk about is an initiative that the county has just undertaken. The Deputy County Executive, Fred Jarrett, who is the second in command of the whole county underneath Executive Dow Constantine, has a special project this year and going into next year. And the project is how does the county improve services for unincorporated King County? Now, some of you are probably thinking, well, it's about time. But now we have one of the top leaders in our county taking a look at what are the services that are currently being provided to residents of unincorporated King County. You know them as the sheriff, you know them as permitting, you know them as a range of different services that we have. What we're doing right now for the next few months is taking what we call a product catalog, taking a look at what those services are. What do they deliver? What are the costs for those services? We're also taking a look at the demographics, the census, et cetera, of the unincorporated areas, both the urban and rural areas, to take a good look at that. So we're doing some background work right now. The goal is to bring that information out to the community at the beginning of next year and talk to you all, talk to different residents in different parts of unincorporated King County to see, one, if we got it right about what are the services we're looking at. Then we're going to ask, what are the things that are missing? What are the types of services that if you were in a city and not in unincorporated King County that you would expect? Is it more sheriff's time? Probably yes. Is it more human services time? Is it a faster permitting process? What are those things? And we'll take time during the first quarter of next year to listen to the community, get feedback about those products, and then we will be beginning our budget process for the years 2019 to 2020. And that would enable us to ideally factor in what we've heard from you all into the budget for some new initiatives into that 2 years. The other thing we want to do is look at how we can convince the state legislature to give us additional resources, because cities on other sides of us, on Renton side, Seattle side, have opportunity to benefit from the strong economy that the county doesn't have because we don't have the same revenue base. So we're looking to see if there are different ways we can get resources to help finance some of the services that we believe the communities will be requesting and deserve. Again, things like public safety services and other things like that. So over the course of the next 6 months will be an effort to find ways to improve services for the residents of the unincorporated King County. So we'll be doing that through those processes. The other part of it is looking at how the county services blend in with special purpose districts, like the fire district, like water and sewer. How do these work together? Because if we were in a city, those would be part of one package. So we really want to look at it as how does the whole of that package fit together in the unincorporated areas. So it'll be, actually, I'm excited about it. It's a chance to provide you all an opportunity to let us know more about what's missing. We'll be looking at a comparison as well as to what cities offer, and we're using 2 as an example. City of Bellevue, which has basically all those services together, and the city of Burien, which has contracted services for fire and other and sheriffs, to look at a comparison. So we can see what, if you lived in Burien, you might have, what are you getting in the unincorporated areas, what are you getting elsewhere, and where do you think the priorities are for you? So that's what's up for us in the next few months. And we look forward to bringing that information back to you in the new year and also hearing more from you. So that's one part of what the county is up to. The next part of what the county is up to is doing the area plan, which this community has been involved with for some time. First with the Skyway West Hill Action Plan, the SWAP, and now we're moving that to the next phase of bringing our Department of Permitting and Environmental Review in. And I hope some of you had an opportunity to meet with Brad while he was there to go over that. So now I'd like, with a long introduction, to bring Brad Clark up to talk about the next steps for the Skyway West Hill Action Plan, or now the Skyway West Hill Community Service Area Plan.
Good evening, everybody. Brad Clark, and if I think the comment was made earlier about infectious enthusiasm, and if you don't think infectious enthusiasm and zoning go together, you are missing the boat. So, but we're going to do our best for just a few minutes here, because I know you've got a full agenda. So my goal tonight is just to, as Alan mentioned, give you a touch on where we're at. The vast majority of you I did not get a chance to talk to. So there are some business cards up here on this table. If afterwards you'd like to get an email or a phone number, there's also going to be that on the last slide of this presentation. So now it's just all about the technology. And so real quickly, for those of you that don't know, there is an existing community plan that this community has. And when we say this community, we're talking about the approximately 3.2 square miles, which encompasses this greater sort of Skyway West Hill area, including Lake Ridge and Bryn Mawr and all the others. So when we're talking about that area that is all unincorporated. In 1994, there was a plan adopted. That's the current plan. It has not been repealed. It's in effect. Then, as Alan mentioned, the 2015 SWAP process, which many of you may have been a part of. The motion that we have been given by the King County Council is to take those two documents, work with the community, blend them together to create this 2018 Skyway West Hill Community Service Area Plan. So that's the charge. I'm not going to go over these in much detail. The point of this slide is just to make a clear distinction between a community service area plan, a CSA plan, and many of the other documents that are out there. Functional plans like what Metro has in terms of the bus service to the community. Parks, they have other plans, open space plans. These plans are different than that in that they integrate and sort of take a little higher look at all of those to ensure that over the next 20 years, sort of those different elements are talking to each other and are working towards the end vision that the community has. Real quick, there's actually a much more detailed sheet up here on the table, and we will make this available as well. But who are you in terms of the Skyway West Hill community area? You know yourselves more intimately than the county does, but in terms of what the demographics say, there's about 16,500 of you as of 2015. Persons of color is a very diverse community, as you well know. It's about 72% versus 37% for King County in terms of the population. About 6,000 households, about a semi-average split in terms of owner-occupied and renter-occupied for this community, 56.4% owner-occupied. Real estate median house price, in terms of the real estate side, 2016, a median house price $380,000. Census showed it at $280,000. Guess we're getting cut off here on the bottom, aren't we? Is there? Do you know if Devin is there? I think there's some more About 136 firms with employees, median household income of about 58,300. And one of the interesting statistics I thought from the 2015 data through the census that really stood out to us was the number of people, the number of adults with college, completing college, and that's 26.7 compared to 47.9. So that all feeds into essentially what the community, what the county wants to work with the community to sort of look at for the goals and actions that are to be in this plan. All that data just sort of is the greater underpinning for all of this. This slide says, what have we heard? The main opportunity that we've had to speak with you directly was at the Skyway Parade and Block Party that was on, was it August 19th, I think it was, that Skyway Solutions put together. We were there for that day. We had these poster boards that are up here at the front out there, and essentially asking folks to look at those and tell us, do you think that the goals that were in that swap, are they still accurate, and do they still reflect what the community wants to see? There was an overwhelming yes, so most of those are up here for you to look at. Other key things that we heard: a gathering place, a community center is important. More youth activities, Skyway Business District improvements. So there's lots there, and then of course the bottom one, coffee shop in caps, which you have a fantastic one, and that was brought up by several people. So in that light, I won't spend time on this since Bong already mentioned it, but just really quickly, the current code for this, what's called a pedestrian-oriented overlay, does prohibit drive-throughs within the Skyway Business District. That's the way the current code is. The amendment that is before the County Council on Monday at 1:30 is to change that to say that if you are an eating establishment, which does include coffee shops, by the way, then they would be allowed to have drive-thrus within that Skyway Business District area. It's a fairly small, simple change. That is what it says. The committee, the tree committee, did already review this. They recommended approval of that, and so what Monday's meeting is the full council, a public hearing to hear from the community. Then they will presumably at that point make a decision on that code amendment. This is showing just a couple of the key principles that these CSA plans are intended to address and to incorporate. They do deal with the 20-year horizon. They have an 8-year implementation time frame built into them. So that's a key piece, because that's really what the actions are at, and those are an 8-year turnover cycle. Anything in these plans does need to be consistent with the King County Comprehensive Plan and the Growth Management Act of Washington. They carry forward the vision and major policies, and in this case, it's where we are relying heavily on the community process that happened in 2013, 14, and 15 as part of the Skyway West Hill Action Plan. So I will just make that point clear that this process for your community is slightly different than what we have been undertaking and will be undertaking in the future in other unincorporated areas. There are several reasons for that. I think probably the first one is that the county council and other leadership in the county felt that the swap process was intended to sort of help facilitate that conversation. That is a key piece. But we are bringing forward those visions, and both from the 94 and the swap into this plan. We're going to have to take questions at the end. Actions do have to be clearly supported by King County and funding, and there are in these plans, as in any community plan, lots of steps that talk about ongoing activities that do not have to do with King County. Those can certainly be in this plan, but if King County doesn't have a specific role to play, i.e. A park where there is parks planning or parks money involved, then those items will be put in an appendix and addressed and sort of shown to be of a goal for the community, but not specifically King County actions. So that's one key piece. Just a couple quick more things here. Here are some of the main topics that we address in these plans. Everything from land use to transportation, economic development, which we know for your community is an important one. There is anticipated to be a market analysis that has a strong equity and racial justice component built into it. Some of that work has been done to date. The goal right now is to have that more thoroughly explained in terms of what that would look like exactly. It's probably going to be retail, office, and multifamily market analysis for the whole area. But that is one piece. And then the quote-unquote Mount Anderson zoning analysis down on MLK for that pile of gravel that fortunately seems to be shrinking somewhat in size. That redevelopment, we're looking at, is the zoning appropriate for accommodating a multitude of uses on that property. That's another piece of this. And finally, what are the next steps? So basically, August through December, the period we're in now, King County staff is analyzing those two prior plans that I mentioned. We're looking and talking with folks about what key actions we can be putting into this. And then on November 4th, Skyway Convening event is happening. We'll be there and we'll be able to give a little bit further update at that point. December 11th is, I should have probably put that in red. That's going to be the date that the draft plan that has all of the key policies and maps and tables, etc., is put out. Then we'll have that out for about 3 weeks, and that's going to be put on many different sites. If you receive information through the West Hill Community Association or Skyway Solutions, then you would be informed of that. We're going to have a link to that plan where you can make some online comments, but we'll also have it at the library. We'll have a draft copy at a couple other places so that you can get a hold of that easily and be able to give your comments. January to February of 2018, we'll be looking at all of that feedback, incorporating any changes into that plan, and then March 1 is when the executive recommended plan goes from the executive part of the county to the King County Council. And then we anticipate them to take about 4 or 5 months or so to also hold hearings and go through their adoption process. I think I already covered these, the public review draft. And as I mentioned, here's my contact information. So I think that's it for me. So the next person, am I doing this, Alan, for Butch? I think. Do we have time for questions, or do we going to do that? How do you want to handle that?
Yeah, we have time for questions.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
So who are the folks that you guys are talking to for plan information? If it's going to be final or not final, the first draft December 12th, December 11th, it's probably pretty far along.
Correct. Yeah. There's, I think the two plans. If you look at those, I mean, a lot of those themes that are in there in terms of transportation, in terms of improvements to Skyway Park, in terms of the protecting the single-family residential subdivisions and neighborhoods. A lot of those values are anticipated to be carried forward. The material that we're using in terms of the new items is largely based, as I mentioned earlier, on the Skyway West Hill Action Plan process. And then we will be looking for the next few weeks. Any comments on those existing plans are certainly welcome, but mostly we'll be focused on that 3-week period when that plan gets released.
So where would we find a draft of this plan in its current form, or when it's in the reviewable form?
Yes, we can send a link maybe to the website where those are at through the website if they would be so kind to allow us to do that.
Yeah, we can put it on our Facebook. If you do facebook.com/mywesthill, we've posted it there a few times already, and we'll post it again. And you can also find, we'll post on this event page as well, if you go and find the Facebook event page. If you do website, we'll try to post a link on our website, and which is also mywesthill.org.
Can you clarify what you've posted on the West Hill Facebook page?
The Facebook page, we've posted the link to the plans.
To the swap and to the...
Correct, to the page that contains the links to all of the, both of the plans. Correct. Yep. You can search.
But those are past plans.
Correct. We don't have the new one, obviously, but if you also you don't have to be a Facebook member. You can go on the search bar on our page and just type in plan, sub-area plan, and you'll be able to find that as well. You can use it just like
familiar
you.
with the page. I've
Perfect.
liked it,
Okay.
and things pop up when you guys post things, but I haven't seen anything in particular. Maybe
Correct.
I haven't noticed it.
No.
From King County about a plan, so to speak. And as far as input from the community about what we would like to see coming for the next, whatever, this is a 10-year plan, you said?
20.
10-year plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Mark. Yeah.
So, just quickly, those of us that have been trying to watch and understand what the county's methodology is, have read things like opportunities to get involved in the CSA plan for your area will primarily occur during the calendar year in which the CSA plan is scheduled. That's 2017 for those who don't know. So, in the designated year of your CSA plan, there will be multiple opportunities to contribute both your time and ideas about the long-range plan and vision. So can you tell me whether either of those two promises are going to be met by the county?
Well, we hope, provided one of those opportunities through the Skyway block party for those 4 hours there.
That wasn't publicly.
We hope
disclosed.
tonight is one of those opportunities.
That wasn't publicly disclosed as a purpose for the block party.
Right, that was a block party, it wasn't.
Yeah. Our goal and purpose with this process is to take the information that we are gathering through the departments. So, for example, the Department of Transportation and any work that they have done, any public comments that they have received about various road projects, etc., transit projects. We have representatives from all county departments on our team who are tapping into any public information that they have done. So,
How about the state?
How many members?
We have a state highway that runs through Skyway, and the Martin Luther King Jr. corridor is a key part of King County's plan for the future of the densest urban neighborhoods in King County, as far as I read the plan that exists.
we have
It's a state highway.
we do have one of the planners that works for WashDOT who handles this area. We have asked them for crash data, for close call data in terms of the pedestrians and bicyclists. We received that a couple of weeks ago. They do not.
About a vision for Martin Luther King Jr. Way in the 10 to 20-year future. That's what I'm asking, because it seems like if you don't plan for a good future, you're going to get the future you get, which often is littered with unintended consequences.
Sure.
And we can point to things like the King County marijuana policies as being littered with unintended consequences for just our community. So we know what the lack of a coherent plan causes. And quite frankly, I've got to say that what you're telling us is that we're going to just go against all of these under some authority that hasn't been really defined. You actually authorized a step away from the things that you published on your website for years now, as far as this is the new process that we're starting in 2016. And we're going to do it for Skyway only. We're going to continue to do all of these plans as written for the other communities in the county. And I fail to see how that respects Skyway as a community or the ability of these great people here to actually be involved. I mean,
Really?
raise your hand if you actually feel like you have an opportunity to be participating in the SWAT, which was the most recent plan. I do.
Yeah, I think point well taken, Mark. Thank you. We will. I've heard you. I really have. We will take that to our team, Alan and others that are on this team. And here, in terms of what you're saying, it's a point well made. So yes, sir.
Yeah, Mark brought up a point about the marijuana. How many marijuana shops are allowed in the community of 3.2 square miles? There's two in Bryn Mawr, one on Empire Way, and one being planned for next to the Smiley Hobby Shop. Now, I don't know how many are in South Seattle or how many are in Renton, and I don't live or work there. But I would think that four marijuana shops is too many for a neighborhood like this. Am I going against the county's reasoning?
Well, in the.
No.
Do they have a reason?
We're not going to talk. At least I don't feel qualified. Let me put it that way. To speak to that issue. We have 2 or 3 folks at the county that know very in all the ins and outs of the marijuana regulations. So that analysis needs to happen and commit to doing that. But in terms of answering your question specifically, unfortunately, I'm not able to do
Shouldn't
that.
that be part of the future CSA plan? The policies that direct the future development of marijuana policy?
It's a land use issue.
It is.
So, and this is a land use plan. So, yeah.
We're not, we feel like we're just a dumping ground for whatever nobody else wants.
She said to feel like you're the dumping ground for what everyone else doesn't want. So, yes.
Yes.
and middle schools, which is problematic. The other thing that I'm concerned about is I keep hearing over and over in the news about how the county and the city of Seattle are looking to create a safe use
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm concerned about businesses and business development in the area because the county has not really helped us with that in any really visible way, other than the marijuana shops, and I don't want to continue to beat on that. But I know when they put in Creston Point that there was a lot of opposition to Creston Point because that's a bird flyway. And yet the county went ahead and allowed that to build all of those apartments along a highway with no safe walkway. Now, human beings were given two legs for a purpose, and people do like to walk. And you have many families that have to walk along the highway, and there's no barrier whatsoever between these cars and the pedestrians. So that was very poor planning when we have all this land up in Skyway, and there could have been a land swap between the commercial corridor and leave the bird flyway as a bird flyway. And we could have had more stores come in. You know, so I see this track record of King County and this inability to think outside the box. And across the street from Creston Points, they approved another apartment project, and they didn't even have water and sewer figured out for that one. And it was almost 3/4 of the way completed, I believe, before they realized, oh, we don't have this thought out. So we need to get beyond those kinds of botched, what I consider botched jobs, you know. And touching on the pedestrian walkways, there's many places up in the Skyway area where there are a lot of young people that walk at night between Renton Avenue and Lake Ridge, and there's no adequate lighting along the streets there. It's a simple, I mean, this is a wealthy county, we live in a wealthy country, and we're wasting money on wars, killing millions of people. We need to get our priorities straight. Let's get lighting in, let's get commercial, decent commercial. We don't need junk food places up in Skyway. We want decent commercials. And I'll tell you what racism is. Racism is when you do not even have a grocery store in your community. And this community was without a grocery store for quite a few years. So let's look at some of those things since we're
Great.
talking about being equitable.
Okay, thank you very much for those specific points. Yes, ma'am.
I haven't read the plans portion, but did you have any plans for what's gonna happen to the park over in Skyway Park?
Skyway Park, that is a fantastic segue to the next speaker. Butch Lovelace, right?
Yes.
So, yes, we have somebody with the Parks Department here tonight. So Butch Lovelace is going to be the next one up.
The council has meetings, and if you come today, their agenda is already filled with speakers. So is there a pathway for the citizens of the West Hill area to attend that meeting and be on the docket? Or so that they can have.
Talking about content?
Back to council meeting on the 23rd. Can any of those people, if it's a public meeting, come down?
Anyone is welcome to come on Monday.
The fourth Monday of the month, the county has a 2-minute, every citizen in the county could take advantage of a 2-minute opportunity to give their testimony on any subject at all. And it may well be that they're having a public hearing on the land use question, which is the second opportunity to provide testimony.
Yeah, so 1:30 this coming Monday is dedicated specifically to the pedestrian-oriented overlay code change. That's 100% of what that meeting is for. It is a public hearing. If there are, they typically put a 2-minute time limit on. So
I, as an individual, if I wanted to speak, can I
Yes.
get registered for prior to that meeting to know that I'm not coming down there?
Day of, morning of, if you want.
yeah,
Or the
there's a sign-in sheet at the courthouse on the 10th floor.
That's the only way you can get on that speaking document.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Parks, and I just wanted to, I've spoken to a number of you earlier in our tables occupied, but I just wanted to make sure you were aware of a couple things. We are going to be making some improvements to Skyway Park, probably starting in the spring. We're going to be getting some designs to schematic designs, and we'll get those linked on the West Hill site and the Skyway Solutions site as well. I know Skyway Solutions is already taking comments on their Facebook page about the improvements. But briefly, we're going to be improving the lighting, the walking paths, adding a new one, adding a mini-mod soccer field, and a new playground is going to be installed as well.
For the football kids that go up there and play now, you have a lot of kids who go up there for football.
I couldn't hear you.
Football.
Oh, football. Yeah, that big field is going to remain the same, so that use will still be there.
So how did you guys decide on a soccer field?
Well, we're trying to activate the park. It doesn't have a lot of use, and soccer is a growing use. It's a growing sport, and we've seen a lot of success with these mini-mod soccer fields. You can just play a pickup game, 3-on-3, 5-on-5. It doesn't require teams. You can just show up and play. There's 2 in Auburn, and we have 1 in Kent, and they're very popular. So we think
in those communities, I agree with that. I guess my question is, when you guys are comparing your success, are you getting input from the community to cater to that specific community? Because again, this community, yes, soccer it is definitely an upcoming sport, but in this community, to piggyback off my mother-in-law's point, there are other sports that are a lot more attractive in this community that actually our children do participate in that park.
Well, we'd be happy to take those comments. I'm not sure what sport you're referring to.
I guess my question is, how do you guys, how is the community involved in helping make these decisions on how we're going to make the improvements in our community when it's going to impact our children?
Yeah.
That's
my
question.
Yeah. So the plans will be posted on the West Hill site and the Skyway Solutions site for feedback. There's been a lot of outreach already over the past year with Skyway Solutions as well. Surveys were done, and those plans have been passed around quite a bit. So.
We have now been on this Skyway Commission, so some of us re-roll. Just go to both of them and find out what's going on.
Yeah, so we'll post them to both sites. Yeah, question.
So one thing I'm a little confused about is there was an option 1 floated around that showed kind of the overview image of the park and where the mini mod was going to go and so on and so forth and what the improvements were. And to my understanding, that's what some of the feedback you got influenced that. Option, I think that was mostly to the north end of the park, the improvements were. So currently there's 3 baseball diamonds. The park was put there in the beginning, I think, by folks wanting to start a Little League. So the baseball diamonds do have quite a bit of history there. My understanding is option 1 did reflect having a baseball diamond, at least 1 of the 3 remaining.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding now is that Park's new position is to remove every single baseball diamond, add an additional mini mod field. And is that still the goal? And that's kind of if we could get updated image to be able to share with the community, it'd be a lot more helpful if there was something that reflected the current Park's current thought.
Yeah, and we'll post those probably after the November 4th convening. We'll go to that as well and present. But the one plan does have a Little League field in it.
Okay. So it hasn't been decided for sure about the baseball field?
No, it hasn't.
Community input about having at least 1 little baseball field for a Little League.
Yeah.
And what prevents you from posting your current thoughts now? What's going to happen between now and the Skyway convening?
We're just taking more comments and we'll just refining the plans. I mean, we're just now working on
So
them.
you're going to make a refinement between now and November?
Well, like the plan that I have that I was showing earlier, that was done yesterday. I mean, that was kind of finalized yesterday. So we're just now working on it. Yeah. So I also wanted to share that we have some grants available. $3.6 million countywide. 1.5 is dedicated to unincorporated King County alone. And these grants are for youth and adult sports, new facilities, and for programs as well. So we've been reaching out to the school district, Boys and Girls Club, and others in your community to make sure that they're aware of that. You have to be a 501c3 or a government agency to apply. This is the first year and it will be ongoing, so if there's not a grant from the community that's submitted this year, certainly next year is another opportunity and it is ongoing. So with that, Luke, thank you.
I would like to thank the officials from that have spoken for giving us their time tonight, and if any of you can make it to the meeting on the 23rd, please do so. Okay, is Sheriff Bruner still here? I'd like to give you a little bit of what's going on in Skyway, and he's been off for a little while, so you haven't seen him as much. They had a new addition to their family here recently, so. And he did tell me that the maps is. Oh, okay. He just sent out the maps of crime where they've had that if any of you have seen the ones before, he color codes where things are been happening so that you can be a little more aware of what's going on in your neighborhood. He's going to connect those up to the Facebook, so that if those of you who are at home can take a look at them, and if you don't have a computer at home, the library has them, or he probably will have some paper maps at the storefront.
Can anybody hear me without this mic?
No.
Yep. Did I hear a no?
Yes.
Use the mic. All right, I'll use the mic. Okay, so I was Sam, the storefront deputy. I've been off for about the last month due to paternity leave. So I'm now getting back into the swing of things. So about 30 minutes ago, I emailed out all the Block Watch captains the updated maps, which this was up here as well as the other ones. So I just spammed your email with about 10 to 15 emails.
I see.
So, yeah. If you have any questions, obviously, shoot me an email back about them. As for the mails, this is the first map up here. This is all about the mail theft. This was, let me see what my analyst said. So this is from June 1st to August 29th. So it's kind of all over Skyway. As of, I think it was last week, we may see a drastic downturn in mail theft since we did finally found one of the vehicles associated with it, impounded it, and are going through it, and I think they found 6 or 7 duffel bags full of mail in the search warrant. So we should see a drastic decrease in mail theft, hopefully. Same thing, keep your mail locked up, keep an eye on your neighbors. If you see it, report it. That way we can make contact with them if we get in the area. As for the other stats, this is from September 19th to October 3rd. This is the most recent stats that we have. So again, the majority of the crimes are kind of over on the, I guess, the southwest side of Renton Avenue, the Bryn Mawr area, It's got, let's see, there's a couple larceny from vehicles, vehicle recovery, and a couple residential burglaries. And I think as for the other graph, violent crimes are kind of on an uptick this month. We've had a couple shootings, one right in front of the motorcycle club. Two groups of people decided that they don't like each other and started shooting at each other. Fortunately, nobody was hit except the building. And then last Sunday, there was also another shooting at the same intersection. One second. Don't think it had anything to do with the actual motorcycle club. Somebody was just heading down 126, and his car was riddled with bullets, and he decided that he'd wait till he got home to give us a call about it. And he said he didn't know, and he doesn't know anybody who was going to shoot at him. But I guess we can only help the willing. Go ahead.
That incident brought me to remember another shooting that was basically an assassination on Renton Avenue 2 or 3 years ago, where somebody laid in wait and shot and killed a man in his car as he was driving down the street, which sounds a lot like the MO of this last Sunday weekend. And so these repeating, very serious crimes are troubling to the community, and nothing takes the sense of peace in a community away faster than hails of bullets that you can hear happening in your neighborhood.
Yeah, and the one last Sunday involved a high-powered, it was a 7.62 caliber rifle, so those are going to echo a lot more over the neighborhood than the little handguns. But
that was just really almost sounded like a repeat of something that happened in the same spot 2 or 3 years ago.
yeah.
That's troubling.
So, anybody have any questions?
Yes, in terms of in-home burglaries, I have one. I'm not in King County, it's in my backyard, but I'm on the Seattle side. But I was talking to one of my friends that lives in unincorporated King County, and he had somebody canvassing his neighborhood and actually came to his door at 10:30 at night with his phony excuse for knocking on the door. So what I'm wondering, is there any coordination between the Seattle side and King County in terms of looking at any corresponding descriptions of the people doing these deeds, these dirty deeds, and just trying to get a better layout of which areas are being hit? Because, there's, Seattle is right up here as well, and it seems to me, after talking to my friend, that there should be some coordination of services in terms of looking at, especially when people are coming in the middle of the night when you're home, breaking in the middle of the night. That's pretty serious.
Yeah, as for communication between law enforcement agencies, if we get in a pursuit of a car, we're looking for a suspect, we actually broadcast it out, have our dispatchers call Seattle's dispatch, they broadcast it out to Seattle and be able to look out for this person wearing these clothes, this car, this type of call we're on. So during the shift, we routinely get updates from Seattle, Tukwila, Renton, because obviously the West Hill here is surrounded by the 3 different agencies. And then we do the same to them. And then as for us communicating with Seattle to find out their crime stats, I don't get Seattle's crime stats. I'm assuming Jody Hobbs, our crime analyst, will. And if there's anything that has to relate with us, then yeah, we'll get that information in basically bulletins from Seattle and or our crime analyst itself.
But you don't know that for sure. You said Jody Hobbs is the person that...
Yeah, she's our crime analyst. She's the one that creates all these dot mark maps that I send out to the storefront or the block watch captains. And she's the one that actually does our crime statistics for our area of the West Hill. Unincorporated King 8 is what it is.
Right. My point is, if you have somebody breaking into homes in the night,
doing it on the Seattle side and they're doing it on the unincorporated side, it seems like it would be helpful to know, is this the same person operating? What should people be watching out for? Or no? Maybe I'm just...
In order to be helpful, we'd have to be able to link them. Now, if they got arrested in Seattle for breaking into a house one night, unless we have any sort of evidence, fingerprints, photos, videos, eyewitness accounts of them doing the exact same thing on the unincorporated King County side, it's going to be very hard to actually link the two crimes. They very well may be, and most likely they are, but you know, the court needs to prove beyond preponderance of the evidence that the same person did the other crime.
So I think what she's basically saying, if I understand, is there's no coordination between King County and
The analysts probably, but we don't have a direct, I don't have Seattle's crime analyst.
So there's no communication.
Not between the crime analyst and the deputy.
So I think that's all she's.
But whether or not it's between the analysts and the captains and the majors, I couldn't speak to it because it's above my pay grade.
I actually do have a question, and it was in regards to that shooting on Sunday night. It was incredibly fast, incredibly loud, and quite frankly, I didn't know whether to turn the lights out and hit the deck or what to do. So obviously, I called 911. Huge argument ensued today on Facebook regarding the fact that because I didn't know where the shots were coming from, I shouldn't have called 911. So, because that seems to be a waste of 911's services, what should I have done? Did I do correct by calling 911?
Absolutely.
Do you use our calls to triangulate where this might have come from?
Yeah, so we, every time somebody calls 911, it's going to create a new CAD incident. So if I actually pulled up, unfortunately I can't show it to you, otherwise I would, our CAD, it'll basically, you know, caller number one that comes in, hey, shots fired at, you know, in the area of 126 in Renton. And then they'll actually link all the other various callers, and from that then we can click on those hyperlinks and it'll send us to, okay, they heard 12 shots from, you know, 2 blocks to the east. And then so yeah, then that's how it's triangulated toward where it is. But yeah, we need the calls.
Okay.
Because there has been times that I've heard shots like sitting in, you know, in my car, I've heard it, and I'm like, okay, when's the call for me to go look? And nobody's called, so I kind of go in the general area that I think it came from, and you know, it's tough to find.
Okay, I was pretty sure that that was the right thing to do. There were obviously a lot of people calling because there were wait times.
Yes.
And this person was concerned that because we had to wait, someone who might be having, you know, a medical emergency couldn't get through, and that we were causing death. Because, do not laugh. That's exactly what we were accused of, and that I was a busybody for making this phone call.
No.
Okay. Just confirming.
Yeah, no, definitely call. You know, if it's something of this nature, obviously call 911. If it's something that you don't think is relevant or you know, life-threatening, you can call the non-emergency number, which then basically you get kicked over to the I'm on hold until
whenever.
Until all the emergency calls are done. So.
Just checking.
Anybody else? Back to you.
One more.
Oh, one more. Oh.
Cars parked illegally and or stolen or whatever, and just left there on the streets.
There's a number.
Expired tabs
Yeah, so as soon as I know about them, I try to take care of them. I just impounded one off of 69th and about the 12100 block. Same thing. Lady came up to the storefront and said, hey, this car's been here a month. I tag it because it wasn't stolen, and a couple days later I impounded it. So if I know about them, I'll make every effort to get them taken care of within 24 hours. Our tow times are from Monday through Friday, from 8 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. The hard part for me is I work from 2 in the afternoon to 10 at night, so I have 1 hour window. in which I can actually tow a car for 24-hour violations, expired tabs, and all that other stuff. So I have to tag it right at the beginning of my shift one day and come back right at the beginning of my shift the next day in order to get it within that 24 hours.
And adding to that, I had one gentleman down the street from me who figures since he got tagged, and he comes back through and takes the tags off and takes all the markings off that you guys put on here, that he's safe.
Absolutely not. I can't give you all my tricks and trades, otherwise it won't work. But yeah, he can wipe off all the windows, he can rip off the 24-hour tag, but there's still a couple other things that I do to the car so that I know that it hasn't moved. And then yeah, it's still, you know, I create a detail in CAD and I document it all on that, and then if he wants to roll the dice, he can roll the dice, and if it gets impounded, he has a chance to fight it in an impound hearing. But yeah, every vehicle parked on a public roadway has to move every 24 hours.
How can people contact you?
If you need to contact me, you can email me, give me a call. I can go grab more business cards and toss them out as well. Or reporttossheriff.org. You can go there and do an abandoned vehicle report, and then that'll eventually get forwarded to me.
How many sheriffs do you have available to service the West Hill area?
So we have, during the hours of 6 a.m. to 2 in the afternoon, we have 2. During the hours of 2 in the afternoon to 10 at night, we have 2. And during graveyard hours from 10 o'clock at night to 6 in the morning, we have 2. I'm the extra when I'm here, which is 5 days of the week, so that leaves 2 or 3 days of the week that I'm not here. So our minimum staffing is 2 per shift. And then we rely on help from Seattle, Renton, Tukwila, or unincorporated White Center, Burien cars to come up if we need more bodies. But yeah, only 2 of us, unfortunately. I think I got room for one more?
One more.
One more.
Real quickly, over the summer, there was several big diesel rigs dumped in my neighborhood, just inside of unincorporated. Did you ever get any line on who might have been doing that? I understand the property owner was responsible for the cost of having those removed.
Where was it at?
Right near 59th and Beacon.
Oh, Beacon, yeah, so yeah, they've been removed.
I know they were removed.
Yeah, I don't know who was responsible for it. Obviously, code enforcement, I contacted David Bond, who's the code enforcement officer up here, and he basically, had the landowner.
For a while, somebody put up curtains and was living in one of them.
Oh my God. Oh, and then if I can, real quick, I don't know if anybody's here. As for the trucks parked out on South 118th and 68th, kind of underneath the power lines there, people have been complaining about the heavy rigs there. It is a moot point. That business owner has actually gotten a lease from Seattle City Light to use that property for such purposes. So those dump trucks and trailers will stay there, and there's nothing I can do about it or anybody else for this fact, because it's actually, now he actually has a lease. So.
Thank you, Brandon. We had a little mention about the park and the construction down there, and so I asked Cynthia, our water district manager, to come up and kind of explain where they are, because there's a few stories going out there, and I'm not sure which one is the right one, so maybe she can enlighten us in a short way where they're at and what's involved.
Lights, camera, and action. So this is probably the first evening that I haven't had a prepared script when I've come to the quarterly meeting. So the district currently has 2 huge projects that are funded by Public Works Trust Funds. And one of those projects is our well and treatment upgrade project. We bid that project last month. We hope to award it here in the next week or 2, and then start construction shortly after that. The next big project is our Skyway Park pump station project. That's been on the docket for as long as the well and treatment project has been. We are still in negotiations with the landowners, landowners for leases. We hope to have those taken care of soon. I spoke with someone this evening because we live in the community, and there's a fine line between continuing negotiations with a property owner or being heavy-handed and going through condemnation. And I would challenge anybody to have a mathematical formula where you decide when you do that. Okay? So that's where we are right now. We're looking out for the district's best interests, that we give fair compensation or consideration to a property owner for the lease that they're going to give us, without giving away the farm and giving a landowner more than they should really be entitled to. So that's where we are on that project. We hope to have those negotiations concluded within the next couple of weeks and put that large project out to advertisement next month. Any questions?
Would that mean that you could conceivably work that project this winter or early spring?
Yes.
Like the Skyway Park project?
Yes, winter and spring.
Well, it's not dependent on hot, warm weather, summer weather.
Well, it's almost always easier to work any project in warm, dry weather. But this is a large project, and for the most part, the contractor has a good amount of latitude as to where they can start and finish. So yeah, there can still be construction during the winter time. All right, and I'll be here after the meeting. If you have other questions, you want to come and talk to me individually, I've got some maps up here as well, so you can see how the project overlays with the park. All right, thank you.
John, did you have anything for us on the tool library?
Oh, sure.
Okay, make it short, please.
Very short. We're still working to get a tool library started for all of us up here on the West Hill. It's called Sky West. We didn't want to offend either Skyway or West Hill people, so we chose something in the middle. It will be a great asset for the community. There's many of them around the Seattle area and around the country, and probably around the world. We meet on the fourth Thursday at the Skyway Water and Sewer office at 6 o'clock. If you'd like to help, and we really would like to have some help, please come visit us or look us up on Facebook or just give us a call. That's all.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, next we hated to put him back there in the corner, and he probably thought I forgot about him, but our fire chief, Eric Hicks, would like to explain the fire department's stand on Proposition 1, where they have asked for a vote for a property bond, or not property bond, but a maintenance bond, which expired, the current one expired last December, and I'll let him give you the details.
Thanks, Lou. Well, thank you. You guys are troopers. I mean, it's like, what time is it? 8:18? And I was told this was going to be like a catered buffet meeting. That's how they kind of got me
That's
here.
when I got everybody out of here. It's a plan.
Okay, well, maybe next quarterly meeting. I'll try to go quick. I know it's late. I can sit up here and talk about the fire department all night long because I just love the fire service. This first slide talks, says our mission. Okay, I know you can't see the letters or the words up there. The font's pretty small. I kind of was hoping you could see that. You can go to our website and go through all the tabs where it talks about our mission. But every day we come and work towards our mission. And I work with some incredible, talented, compassionate people that care about this community. Each photo up there I kind of picked, if you look at the one starting on the left, is a little boy looking at our A card. That kind of, to me, symbolizes us training future firefighters and getting them prepared for community service. The second photo shows two of our firefighters. One's one of our career firefighters, the other one is one of our volunteers. And they had a dog that was kind of around the fire station, so they decided to go through the community and see if they could find the owner of that dog. They actually found the owner of the dog. The third photo is a picture of a fire on Beacon Coal Mine Road that involved 3 trailers, okay? And we can't fight fires like that alone. we are very well involved with our partners throughout what we call Zone 3 in South King County, where if we get a fire that size, we're getting help from all over South King County because we're just too small enough. We can't do it alone. Seattle barely can do it alone because they have 1,000 firefighters and they serve up to 1 million people at their peak times. But in our small community, we rely heavily on our partners in the community in South King County. The last picture is just showing again how we're involved in the community. That's a picture from National Night Out with Sparky. Everybody in this community on this hill knows Sparky. So he's kind of an icon for our community. So again, I talked about our community. We're 3 square miles. We are a special purpose district governed by 3 commissioners. And Bong was talking about his boss being here tonight. Well, 2 of my bosses are here in the crowd. I'm not going to point them out, but 2 of my bosses are here tonight. And we serve, Bryn Mawr, Campbell Hill, Irvington, Hilltop, Lake Ridge, and so forth. But we also serve other communities. Again, I talk about our partners in South King County. We drop down to Renton, we drop down to Tukwila. Our rehab unit serves all of South King County. Okay, our rehab unit stores water, Gatorade, snacks, and it also fills the SCBAs, the air tanks on the firefighters' back. And so if Federal Way gets a fire, and it's a working fire, it's toned down as a working fire, our unit leaves Little Skyway and goes all the way up to Federal Way. Okay, and that's how we contribute to the zone when it comes to us receiving help from those departments when we have a large fire. So you can see a little fire truck there where the fire station is, and the map of Skyway. Or I'm sorry, West Hill. So this is our current staffing levels. You can see the photo on the top right up there. It shows how many personnel is required for a house fire. Okay, so again, that's where we get those other departments coming up to help us when we have a fire that size. And there's a picture of our rehab unit, bottom left, and that unit is over 25 years old and still responding to fires. So again, that's the rehab unit. So we currently have 18 battle-ready volunteer firefighters. Okay, that's spread across 4 shifts. We have 4 day shift firefighters that are our career firefighters. This is their primary job. We have 4 fire officers that work 24-hour shifts. So those officers are working that 24-hour shift, and they work with the volunteers that come in at 7 o'clock when the day shift firefighters go home. We have 2 admin personnel, and then yours truly, the 1 fire chief. And ask me any questions as far as how we operate at any time. Our current call volume for the year, right now, about 7.5% have been fires, 70% medical, and 22% other, okay? And so when I talk about other, the fire department responds to everything. If your water heater bursts, your basement's flooding, you call 911, we'll come out and try to help you with your problems. Okay, so we respond to everything. People say, well, do you respond to the cats and trees? Well, we try not to, but if we have to, we'll come out and see what we can do. So this is Proposition 1, which you're going to see on November 7th on the ballot. We had a maintenance and operation levy that expired in December 2016. And during that time, the district collected 60 cents per thousand for 2 years, and the next 2 years, it was 90 cents per thousand. What we're asking for is a renewal, okay? And so, like today, I'm just giving you the facts. We're looking at 41 cents per thousand and 53 cents per thousand over 4 years. I'll call up my tech support. So it calculates out where you take your assessed value divided by 1,000 times the levy rate. And you can see it's the same language that will be on the ballot. So you're looking at anywhere from $5.40 to a maximum of $7.08 per month, additional to what we're already collecting. And my final slide just talks about what we're going to use the funding, how we're going to use the funding. So when I came on as fire chief almost about 5 months now, 2 of the admin people in the office had resigned. So we had a total of 3. So as far as trying to do some cost reduction, I didn't hire back 2, only hired 1. So we have 2 admin personnel instead of 3. Financial planning. We currently have a roadmap that takes us up to 2026, but that includes passing of the levies. Okay, so as we have 18 battle-ready volunteer firefighters, it's important to increase that number. And this levy is part of increasing that number. I would like to see us have anywhere from 32 to 40 volunteer firefighters, and that takes money. It takes training, it takes time. We send our volunteer firefighters to the Washington State Fire Academy, where they spend 12 weeks, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for 12 weeks training. It takes them anywhere to almost a year even to just get comfortable with what they're doing. And then we send them through emergency medical training, through EMT training, okay? And then even then, it takes them about 2 years to get comfortable. So our fire officers do, I guess, what you would kind of call a little bit of babysitting, okay? We get a lot of new people coming through because they're getting hired by other departments. So it takes time and money to train them up to get them comfortable. Meanwhile, this community is getting the best bang for their buck because they are volunteers and they're working on stipends. So it's kind of a win-win. It's a win for the person that's coming up and volunteering their time, and they are working shifts, okay? They're trained to the highest level. But in return, it's almost like an internship. They get to go out and test for other departments and get hired by other departments. So it's a win-win.
Where do you get the
So we advertise here in the community, we advertise on our website, and you have to be 18 years or older. Part of my plan is to go out to the high schools, to Renton High School in Rainier Beach, and start recruitment there. We have a very talented volunteer pool, but a lot of them don't live in this area. They do come in and work shifts, and what I always tell them, when you put on that uniform, you are part of this community, and they act as so. So they do a really good job coming out and helping out with events and so forth.
And then so those that volunteer, and then you have, those volunteers eventually get hired through the fire station?
Correct,
And
correct.
Then you're at a loss for.
Correct.
more help.
Correct. So it is somewhat of a revolving door, but we really are putting on like some type of internship. And you can go from border to border in the state, and a lot of fire departments know this department up on the hill because we're pretty unique. When you think volunteer fire department, you think of Eastern Washington, you think way out. So having an urban fire department that has a volunteer program where the community kids can benefit to come in and start a career is huge. And so we're pretty proud of that. So critical infrastructure. We have 3 buildings that the fire district owns or operates. Down in Bryn Mawr, we have a supply station that was built in the 40s. And then we have 2 buildings up here on the hill, our admin building and our fire station. The admin building is used a lot for community events. The drill field is used a lot. And so to maintain those structures is pretty important. We just got new carpet in the building, new paint. I was told that the paint and the carpet is probably the original when the building was built in the 90s. So it's looking really good now, so I invite you to come up and check it out. Our fire engines are starting to reach their end of service life. There's going to be time to replace those here in the next 2-3 years. So we're looking at saving up money to do that. And then our ability to respond to multiple calls. Right now, with only 18 volunteers spread across 4 shifts, we don't have an opportunity to have that ACAR in service every night like it should be in service. So we have to rely heavily on Renton or Tukwila coming up to help us. So when that fire engine goes out on an A call, the ACAR is in the fire station, not in service, because we don't have the personnel to staff it. So again, with the help of the levy and planning, we're going to increase our volunteer pool. So we're heavily recruiting for that. Any other questions? So we keep it short.
Well, Chief, when we're responding to a neighbor town on a fire, who is left here in case we have a fire here?
Very good question. So we have what's called zone coordinators, and the dispatch center also has a plan. So being at the zone, we really just about operate as one fire department. When our unit leaves the district, they are called key stations. So the key stations are staffed. So on the hill, we have 2 key stations, one in Tukwila and one in Renton. So it depends on if it's on Rainer Avenue or up on the hill, you'll get a response time, but adequate response time. So you might see a Tukwila fire engine rolling on Renton Avenue responding to a call. So it's all pre-planned throughout the whole South County. You're welcome. Am I going to have it the easiest tonight? Is that what we're doing today? Okay, if there's no more other questions, then thank you so much for listening to me. And I appreciate your time.
Eric?
Yes, sir.
I have a comment.
Yeah.
I was at a fire in Kent a couple months ago, and right there, in between the fire trucks, or Kent, was Skyway's little water truck.
The rehab unit? Yes.
That's cool.
Yes, absolutely. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Larry. The levy coming up, there are, we would like to ask that those that are here tonight, talk to your neighbors, ask them to make sure they get their ballots in. Because where some of the departments in the state of Washington have had a problem passing their levies is they get a majority vote for the levy, but when they count the ballots, the levies have to have a certain percent of people vote, and some of the fire districts throughout the state at times have found themselves in a situation where the levy was passed, but there was a few votes shy of having that magic number. So whether you vote yes or no or anyway, please fill out your ballots and get them in. The library has a ballot box out in front now, so if you don't want to put it in the mail or go down to Grady Way and turn your ballots in, whichever way you choose, please make sure that you get your ballots in. It'd be highly appreciated. Okay, did I miss anybody? Was anybody else?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. We have our, yeah. Okay. We have our representative from the Renton School District, and he would like to let people know how things are going in the school district.
Actually, it's so late, I don't even want to listen to me, so. So here's a few things we've got going on for students and families here on the Western Skyway area. We've got our West Hill Now process that's going on. This is the second year that we've had this process with our elementary schools. And what that is a way to address some of the issues that I heard tonight where folks on the Hill, our families and our kids on the Hill, don't have access to health care or food or things that make for family life, and they have to consider that before they're considering coming to school. So there's not a lot we can do about it other than try to strengthen our educational programs in school and provide certain things that help families and kids stay focused on learning. So West Hill now allows us to actually work at elementary schools to provide teachers with more training, to provide our students with social and emotional care. We've invested up to about $90,000 per school on the West Hill Elementary School on the West Hill beyond what other elementary schools get, so that we can provide these kinds of services for our kids and families. Again, to keep them focused on education, keep them from having to worry about healthcare and food and those kinds of things. We have weekend food programs where kids get food in backpacks and get to take food home on the weekends. We have at Renton High School, so I'll shift to high school. At Renton High School, we built a healthcare center with Health Point, which is a local health organization right inside Renton High, so that high school kids can get health services, health screenings, and that kind of thing right at school. They don't have to worry about getting appointments to get out of school to go to these kinds of things. And it's accessible to kids right at school. It's also accessible to families. We're still working on how to work the families in after school and those kinds of things, but that's something we're working through. So we couldn't provide a health organization, but what we can do is provide access to a local organization in our school, and we reconfigured the health center at Renton High to provide for that. Also, staying with Renton High, we also have the International Baccalaureate program there, which is a high-level learning program for high school kids. If you go through the program there, the likelihood that you get into college is higher, and the likelihood that you actually get to skip some classes in high school or in college is pretty high. So you don't have to take remedial classes. You can jump from the 101 classes to 102. Colleges throughout the U.S. and the world actually recognize the diploma that's coming out of these IB, International Baccalaureate programs, as higher level courses that provide entry level for these high school kids that are getting out right into college, and again, not having to take these remedial courses or could even skip some of the classes in college and move on up. Dimmitt Middle School, we're doing a lot of work there. Dimmitt is the first school in the district that we are working to provide every kid with a laptop. So every kid that goes to Dimmitt Middle School is assigned a laptop starting this year. When they come into school every morning, they check out their laptop, they go into class. We've provided training for our teachers on how to use laptops in class. That might sound like it's something that everybody knows how to do, but if you're a teacher and you're used to providing kids an educational program in a certain way, to then have them have access to the web and programs on their laptop changes your way of thinking and your approach to education. So Dimmitt Middle School is the first school in the district to get that program. Eventually, the kids will be taking those programs home. Actually, as talking about technology, I'll shift back to Renton High. Over 130 Renton High students were recently given free Wi-Fi hotspots from Sprint. So what we did was we worked with Sprint to provide these for Renton High kids. So now, some of the pushback that we were getting is, what about these kids who have these laptops and they don't have access to the internet at home? We're starting to work on that. So Renton High kids now have that. So some of the kids at Dimmitt School, we want to expand those as well. And lastly, you may know this, but the Secondary Learning Center, which has kids from all over the district. So it's not just folks on West Hill and Skyway. These are kids from all over the district that come to that school. Tomorrow night we have a renaming ceremony to rename Secondary Learning Center to Al Talley Senior High School. Al Talley was a longtime board member who passed away suddenly in March, and the board voted to rename that school after him in June, and that ribbon-cutting renaming ceremony is tomorrow night. If you care to swing by there, it's from 5 to 6 p.m.
It's a great facility.
It is a wonderful facility. It provides students at the high school level with a place that they can go that helps them catch up. So it's not an alternative high school. It's a way for them to actually decide how to go to high school themselves. So high school kids that go there may not like going to a large high school where they feel like they're just another number in a crowded hallway. Class sizes are lower here. Some students who go to Tally High actually have jobs in the evening or have to take care of siblings, and so they have to work around schedules. And so it's just another learning opportunity for kids in a setting that's different than a traditional high school. So, is that a question back there? That's a scratch. Solid. All right. Yes, sir.
Do you have volunteer mentoring programs?
Just helping a kid with homework, it's connecting with a kid socially so that they feel like they have an adult in their life that cares about them, that they can talk to. So a lot of the kids are identified directly at school as having social and emotional needs that another adult or an adult in their life would actually help. Just as a segue, Mr. Talley, who the Secondary Learning Center is going to be named after, worked for 20 years as a mentor for hundreds of kids in the district. A couple of kids he actually mentored from elementary school up here on the West Hill, from elementary school all the way to walking across the stage at graduation. He stayed with them all the way through their education and got to shake their hand and present them their diploma. So he was known for that mentoring program too. So if you are interested in being a mentor, that would be great. Just Google Communities and Schools of Renton, and they have a page there that talks about mentoring in schools. You can see what it takes to be a mentor. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be education. You don't have to worry about whether or not you know calculus. You just need to show up. You just need to show up and be an adult in the life of a kid that just needs somebody in their life. Yes?
I have a quick question about technology.
Yes, ma'am.
So the laptops are available in middle school. What technology are you teaching? Is it a Microsoft programs, Google? What are you teaching
Very
in the
good.
district? And then to follow up with that, will the laptops also be available in high school?
Thank you for that. Yes, actually, Dimmitt, we're piloting it at Dimmitt this year. Next year, it goes to all middle and high schools. And eventually, we'll figure out how to get it to elementary schools. At all of our other schools right now, we have a 2-to-1 ratio. So there's 2 kids for every 1 device. So kids have access to technology in all of our schools. Dimmitt's the first one that has a 1-to-1. And as I said, next year, we'll move that to all the other middle schools and high schools. We are teaching technology throughout all of our classes. In fact, even some of our kindergarten classes teach coding, computer coding. And that is where you are able to write code to tell a computer what it is you want it to do. And kids are learning that. They're picking it up fast. We do have the Microsoft software package that kids learn at high schools where they're certified in Microsoft Office technology. That's your Word document, PowerPoints, Excel, spreadsheets. So kids learn those and get certified in those programs. So we've got technology throughout every grade level in our district. The Dimmitt program I wanted to highlight because it is a pilot program when we wanted to start it at this school on this hill with these kids.
And it's going really well.
Thank you. Yeah. Solid. I am done. Thank you, sir.
Anybody else have anything further to do? I'm sorry, Nestle.
Hi everyone, my name is Nestle Bravo and I'm with Skyway Solutions. Just have a couple of exciting announcements about things we have going on. The first being the Skyway convening. It was previously mentioned earlier, but if you're interested in providing more feedback about the area plan, the park, or West Hill, this is a great space to do so. We'll have about an hour for each one. It is on November 4th from 11 to 2:30 at the Fire Station Training Center. And then we also will be making an announcement or sharing more about our Skyway Leadership Program. So this is a paid leadership program for 18 to 24-year-olds from the 98178 area. So if you are interested, know someone that's interested, definitely please send them our way. We can also get you copies of our brochures and our flyers. And then lastly, if you're interested in the parade that we had this last August. We'll start planning this upcoming January.
Thank you, Nestle. We have, the firefighters have put together some signs for voting on Proposition 1, the maintenance levy. And Tracy put them all together, and if any of you'd like to take one home and place it in your yard, we would appreciate it. And Tracy said also, if you have a disability or anybody that you know would like to display those signs and have a disability, he himself or one of the other firefighters will burn it down and place it in their yard. If you will sign a list over there to let them know that that help is needed. We also asked if there are any of you who are in other activities or organizations within the West Hill area that would like to be more active with us. There is a list over there. We ask that you put your name down and the organization and what you are representing, and please put a phone number so we can get in contact with you. Don't need to?
That's for giving a community report. If you're an
Okay.
organization that wants to get involved, we have an email list. You get all of our emails about our meetings and our events. And you can also contact us on our website or through Facebook or any of those means. But yeah, when you come to these meetings, if you represent a community organization, there's a sign-up sheet in the front desk that says community report sign up. Put your name and organization down, and it's a new thing, so we're working out the kinks. So
Hey.
Chuck was on the list too.
Pardon me?
I think Chuck was on that list too.
Did you want to?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good night. Okay, from the VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars. We do have many, many programs here at the Post. And you are invited. We put on dinners and things of that nature. You are invited. You are part of this community. We are part of this community. We, the veterans, wore a uniform to protect this community. Just like the firefighters do and our police. They protect our community and keep us free. Give them a hand. Program's coming up on the 21st, and they always put down adult Halloween party. Now, wait a minute. It's grown-ups. How many grown-ups do we have here?
Only a few.
Only a few, that's right. We're all young at heart. I know I have a birthday coming up. And then on the 28th, we have the kids' Halloween party, which will be held right here. And we'll have the cakewalk. We'll have a lot of candy, so we can get them sugar high when they go home. And it's just a fun night. And it's fun afternoon. It's from 2 to 4 o'clock that day. And then in the evening, the Post itself is putting on an Elvis night. We have an Elvis impersonator coming in. And he was here last year, and he did a fantastic job. Fantastic. It is $20 a head, because you're going to get the show, and you're going to get a meal at the same time. That's pre-sale, so if you want some tickets, stop by upstairs, or come by sometime in the afternoon and purchase a ticket for $20. At the door that day, or evening, it'll be $25. Okay? So, and then coming up next month, we're going to start collecting for our Thanksgiving baskets. And for many of you who don't know is, our baskets normally don't go here to the community. They go out to the families at Fort Lewis. There are many, many families out at the fort who really need Thanksgiving basket. Many of us think, oh, they're military, they're making money. Well, they're not. And at the same time as we help out those who are then deployed. There are a lot of them that are deployed and deployed multiple times. I know I've gone through that myself. You deployed for a year, come home, you're home for 6 months, and you're deployed again for another year. And that's what's happening to our troops today. And on a sad note is that many of those that are coming home and that are being discharged, 18% of our forces are committing suicide or seriously thinking of it. If you know of someone who's been in the service and going through that crisis, please give them our post phone number. Let us talk to them, sit down. We'll get them to where they need help. Because a lot of us went through the same thing. Okay? That's all I got. Good night.
You forgot the Voice of Democracy program? You're not gonna tell them that? The Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan care packages? We got those going upstairs. Food baskets?
At this time, I'd like to have all the board members stand up so that the community know who you are, all of you. Okay, so if you see these people in the community and you have ideas about things that are going on within the community, please let them know. We're here to serve you. So the more we know about what's going on in the neighborhood, the better job we can do for you. And don't be afraid to lend a hand when we have our projects. You don't have to be a member. You actually, as a resident, are a member. And we can, like everything, the more hands you have, the faster it goes and the better the job you can do. So is there anything else for the good of the organization?
I'm not going to let you guys go without getting back up here again. And without saying thank you so much to the Skyway VFW Coast number 9430 for hosting tonight and every quarterly meeting. You got this space for free, which is awesome, because I told you about our budget earlier, right? Not huge, not huge. So before we leave, you guys have sat through a 2-hour meeting, your bums are sore, you can't wait to go home and go to sleep and maybe watch Netflix again. That's, priority for me right now. And I'm gonna spring a pop quiz on you. Okay, nobody ran away. Good, okay, awesome. Where do you go online to donate money to make our party on the 30th bigger and better? Anybody remember the URL? mywesthill.org/donate. Yes, thank you, Mark. mywesthill.org/donate. If you've already given or it's not in the cards for you right now, if you can help share that. If you can go on Facebook, you'll see we posted 1,000,000 times about it. If you can share that. If you can send out an email to your fellow block members, your friends, your family, let them know this is important. This is how we do these things in the community and keep these things going. So if you can do any of those things, we really, really, really appreciate it. Lastly, who's going to party with us on Halloween Eve?
Yep.
Yes. Can you see all you guys out there? Yes, start practicing. I want to see you guys come in costume. There is a costume contest. If you don't have a costume, we will still let you in. You can come as a teacher. Okay, that works. Okay, creativity counts. You will be getting loads of candy and treats, no matter who you are. What age you are, you're getting stuff. We're making you take home really cool stuff. You will have carnival games. I want you all to start practicing your skill and your hand-eye coordination. Most importantly, bowling costs $4 for a shoe rental and 3 games of bowling, which is super cheap. So bring your whole family. It's awesome, cheap date night, family night, what have you. So number 1, please help us raise the funds that we're looking to raise this year, meet our goal at mywesthill.org/donate. And number 2, come party with us on Halloween Eve at the bowling alley. I hope to see you all there. Thank you so much for coming. I'm handing it back to Lou.
Thank you, everybody, and as you've been nagged before, I'm going to do it again. Please be careful going home. The weather's changed, the streets are slick. We don't want to make you have to bring the guys out from the fire department for an extra call tonight.